Now let's look at navigating the patient sector. All tasks start here, in the patient sector. When you place your cursor inside of a patient sector, the sector is outlined in an orange border. Inside the sector, you'll see the waves and numerics. Let's review some of the other items that you may find in the sector. For this video, we're going to focus our attention to the top right-hand sector, Catherine Johnson. She's wearing a telemetry monitor. We'll start at the top of the sector. Once again, we have the tooltip feature. When you hover over an icon, you'll see text that identifies the intent of the icon. The colored square at the top left of the sector is the caregiver icon. Each caregiver is assigned a color when they're making their assignment. When you hover over the icon, you'll see that the nurse for this patient is Elaine. This icon allows for quick identification of the nurse who's taking care of the patient. And if you are the nurse, it allows you a quick way to identify your patient sectors. When you click on the icon, the caregiver assignment window will open. Next is the bed label. When you click here, it will open the equipment management window. And of course, we have the patient's name. You'll note the orange box that's around the name. If the patient is assigned to a patient group type, the name is going to be outlined in the group's associated color. You can hover over to view this group. We see that Catherine is a diabetic. Remember that the touch screens will not provide you with tooltips, but you can select the patient's name and the patient management window will open, and then you can see that she's been assigned to the diabetic group. The next icon will only be seen if the patient is a DNR or a modified DNR. If your patient is a full code, you will not see this icon in the sector. By clicking on the icon, you can see the status. You'll only see this next icon if your patient has a telemetry device. It's a great way to help you find that lost telemetry device, and we're going to talk about this more in another video. Next, we see the battery icon. The number of segments that are showing on the battery icon indicate the approximate power level. You can hover over it to see the battery status. In the last video, we mentioned that you can place patient messages in the patient sector. Here, we've placed a message that will remind us that a new telemetry order is needed. This is done in the patient management window. At the end of the rhythm line, you can see a heart that's got a question mark in it. This is the paste mode icon. When you click on it, a menu will display that allows you to turn paste mode on or off. The question mark lets you know that the paste status is unconfirmed at this time. When you enter a patient sector with your cursor, or if you select a sector on a touchscreen monitor, you'll see several shortcut icons. These buttons are configurable by your institution. In our window, the first one is a record icon. It allows printing of a delayed strip. We also see Manage Patient, Review, and Measurements. We're going to talk about these more in detail in other videos. For the next three icons, we're going to zoom out and go back to the big main screen view. Depending on your configuration, this last icon will open the patient window. The patient window view enlarges your patient sector to about half screen size, or it can be set up as a second display. Also, if configured, your patient sector can be resized. You may see some arrows. These arrows will allow you to decrease the size or increase the size of the patient sector. And if you're not actively monitoring a patient in one of the individual sectors, you can minimize it until a patient is admitted. Throughout this curriculum, there'll be other videos that explain some of these things in more detail.